What is the Bible? We look at the Bible, we read the Bible, we study the Bible, we think that it gives us eternal life, but what exactly is it? In the Western world, the Bible has 66 books. And within these 66 books, it is telling a story. What kind of a story? Is it just myth? Is it legend? Is it just allegory? No, it's actually historical, but it's very ancient. And because it's ancient, we have to unravel the Bible, or I would like to say excavate the Bible, actually go into the original text with its original culture, original language, and use audience relevance, cultural relevance. These are terminologies that you should be very familiar with if you are, studying the Bible and reading the Bible and wanting to understand the Bible. Cultural relevance and audience relevance is saying that you're actually looking at the Bible through its original audience, through its original authors in the setting and the time of the Bible. That is our job. When I went to Bible school and seminary, that's called proper hermeneutics and exegesis, where you are extracting out of the text what the original authors and the original audience would have thought that they were saying or writing down. Now, when we go into the Bible, we assume many things that have nothing to do with the Bible. And where do we get these ideas? We get these ideas through indoctrination and through Christian denominations. But when we begin to unpack the Bible and we approach it in that way, just to see what the Bible is saying, not what I want it to say, not what I feel it to say, not what my pastor told me, not what my denomination is telling me, not what the Bible school or seminary is saying. But as we're unpacking the Bible, the very foundation of the Bible is an ancient Near Eastern text. It's an ancient Near Eastern text. It is not Western. It is not Greek, even though the New Testament was written in Greek. The concepts underlying it are not Greek. The concepts underlying it are very Hebraic, or go even further back, that would be ancient Near Eastern. So the more you understand the cosmology, the worldview, the paradigm of the ancient Near Eastern world, and you begin to study all different kinds of texts, cuneiform tablets, and right now there's a whole a whole discovery of these texts and what it's saying. You can compare and contrast, and it's sort of like comparative studies. But as you're going deeper into that, you're going to begin to better understand the Bible. It's this context. It is this setting. It's a fixed setting. And so when you take all the 66 books, there is a common thread, okay? There's a common thread, and that is the Bible is an autobiography of Adam. And you might wonder, okay, yeah, Adam was the very first human that God created, and out of Adam comes all the humans, beings, all the different ethnicities and cultures. No, that's what we've been told. But when you actually go into Genesis, we are entering into a shift in the old Stone Age into the new Stone Age, where now writing has been invented. Prior to that time, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, they were using oral tradition, oral culture, and it was all done spoken, in a spoken way, the tongue. But now you have it down, it's written down, and we have a peak of this very fixed setting, this fixed context in the Bible. And where is it centered in? It's in Mesopotamia. When you look into Genesis, where does the Garden of Eden begin? It's in Mesopotamia. It's in the ancient Near East. And as the history is unfolding, those parameters and those boundaries are now, it has different names, right? It was Mesopotamia, then it becomes Sumer, then comes ancient Near East, Middle East, and now we have Israel, right? And all the countries around it. Well, that whole region was supposed to be the place where Adam, the very first human, no, the very first father of Mesopotamia, according to what the Bible is claiming, that their father is Adam. He is the father of Mesopotamia. And from there you have these headships or kings or kingdoms or high priests. And many times they're together, these dual roles. You're having this story unfold before you in a time when kingdoms and empires were expanding, city-states were expanding, civilization. They were in a not industrial world like we are, not in the information world like we are. They were just then coming into a kingdom age era in agricultural time frame. So this is very, very ancient. We are going back, 2,000 years is back is the cross. Go 4,000 years, right, back into BCE. And now let's just say it that way, that is where the Bible begins. The Bible begins at that time, and it is the story of Adam, the father of Mesopotamia. God chooses this group of people, and he calls out of the darkness, he calls out of the land, the dust, the ground, the soil, and he begins to develop a kingdom culture where he is the suzerain, where he is the God that is now going to partner with Adam and become his king and his ruler. And there are stipulations, or there are rules in this agreement, and this is where the word covenant comes from. And I'm going to do another video on what better understanding the covenant, okay? Because the Bible is all about covenant. So better understand the Bible, we have to get back to that context, that fixed setting. It's an autobiography of Adam. Adam has been completely forgotten in the mix. Why? Because after Adam, you have another headship that rises to the scene 10 generations later, and that's Noah. 10 generations later, you have Abraham. And then from Abraham, you have Moses. And from that right there, the headship of Moses is the predominant view of the Bible. Then that expands all the way up unto the time of Jesus. So Jesus is actually an extension, or the posterity, or you might say 62 generations after Adam. That's one collective body, one corporate entity. Maybe there were different headships going under a different name of the kingdom based on where they were located, but it's the same group of people, the body of people. And that's the story that we get a privilege to go into, that's been written down and penned down by ancient folks that are telling this story of how God interacted with them, the relationship that he had with them. What were those parameters? What was the arrangement that was made? And within that context, pops up Jesus, pops up this salvation message. Say from what? Redemption, grace, faith, all of these things that we're very familiar with in Christianity, but we've lost the context. So if you lose the context and the setting, then you're taking it out of context and out of the setting, and now you have eisegesis, where now you're injecting into the text what you want it to say, what you think it says, what tradition is telling us it says, but what does the text actually say? Once you begin to uncover this, once you begin to go into this direction, the closer and closer you're going to get at better understanding the Bible. And it is Adam's story. This one people group, this covenant people group in a covenantal land. And what is God wanting to tell the whole world? What message, universal message, can we extract out of this story? That's an archetype. That means that it is a pattern. It sets up a type that all of us can understand in any time, in anywhere, in any cultural framework, because it's very human. It's a human message, a universal message I hope you're better understanding the Bible and put it back into its rightful original context.